And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already had it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender.
Mr. Sinclair, can you explain why, if this incident happened in 1999, you waited until 2007 or 2008 to come forward? It's a question of credibility, sir. Why didn't you come forward back in 1999 or 2000?
Well, number one, in 1999, I really didn't care whether he was a senator from Illinois or not. To be honest with you, I wasn't a resident in Illinois. As far as why now, I was living in Mexico up until 2006. It really was of no interest to me. I know plenty of politicians, both locally and internationally, that are pretty much crooked. The whole issue was based on his drug use and his claim that he had not used drugs since his college days, and that was the whole issue that brought this forward.
Next question, sir. Are you receiving any financial support for your efforts from anyone? And if so, do any of those people have connections to the Republican Party?
I'm glad you asked that question. Number one, I am not connected with any party, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, Democratic, none. Nor are anybody that are contributing to the cost and the expense of this. Every penny that has gone to pay for this press conference, my travel expenses, have come from average American citizens, most of them actually, according to their own statements, are declared independence, in the sums of from $12.31 to $100 each.
What is Veritas Federal Media, and what role do they have in this renting this venue of the camera crew and back?
The media company you just requested, what is it? It's exactly what I just answered this gentleman. It represents every individual person. It's not a company, in all honesty. It was established as an email address when I arrived here for the Democratic National Committee's bylaws and rules and regulations. Okay, I did. Okay, it's not a company. It is nothing more than a name to represent all of the individuals across this country that have helped get this story out.
Let's come back.
Would you be willing to share your mental health records with the public?
Actually, I'm going to post later this afternoon a list of all of my doctors going back through all of the medical records that are available through 1999. Anyone with valid, legitimate press credentials that wants to check my mental health history, I will be more than willing to sign an authorized medical release for that.
Will we get more than 30 minutes?
Huh?
More than 30 minutes?
More than 30 minutes of what?
With the documents.
Well, actually, if you're valid press and you want me to release my psychiatric records, I'll release them to you as long as you pay for them. I have nothing to hide.
Good. It was a joke. It was about making 30 minutes.
Oh, sorry. You can tell where I'm at today.
Yes, Mr. Sinclair, will you state whether you had sexual relations with any other politicians here today?
Actually,
Let's come up with Senator Larry Craig.
For the record, I have not been engaged or involved with any other politician. In fact, at the time that I met Senator Obama, I had no idea that he was actually in Illinois politics.
Why did you change your name so often?
Well, first of all, in my younger years, I was considered like, wild. And it was more out of respect to my family because, as you can see, with everyone putting my past history all over the place and distorting it, I changed my name the first two times I changed my name was while serving prison sentences in Florence, Arizona.
said that he was introduced to you by name. You didn't know he was a politician. And why would he introduce by his true name to you, and that you would know that he was a politician over the years? How did you realize that it was him? I mean, because he's not engaged in sex and drug taking, and he's a renowned politician in Chicago. It's certainly a little bit strange that they think it's real name through a limo driver. That story doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And how would you remember for 10 years when you lived away and then recognize him on TV or how?
Okay, first of all, yes, he was introduced to me by name, okay? He was introduced to me as Barack Obama. And as far as me not knowing that he was a politician locally, I was not a resident of Illinois. When I became aware of exactly who he was when he gave the keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2004 while I was living in Mexico watching it on Sky TV. No, I did not say that. I told you he was in fact introduced to me by name. I have always stated that he was introduced to me as Barack Obama by the driver and by Barack Obama himself. Always.
Hey Larry, how much did this whole event cost you, and what are you doing now for a living?
Well, as far as anybody wanting to know the final expenses, I would have to check because I've had a few things changed in the last 24 hours. But as of Monday morning, I think it came to a total of $4,126.89. And what I do for a living, I am disabled permanently due to severe nerve damage and spinal injuries. And believe me, it's killing me standing up here this long, but I'll take the question anyway.
Voice of America, given your criminal record, the fact that the crimes that you've been involved in deceit and fraud, why is it that you think that anyone will believe what you're saying?
Well, to be honest with you, it's not so much whether you believe me or not, as much as you hear me. Okay? I mean, it's not my intention to convince you. First of all, I'm not going to defend my lifestyle for the last 46 years. I made mistakes. But I've always admitted to anything I've done, including these crimes. Okay? I can't tell you why to believe me other than the fact, I'm not saying believe me. I'm saying, you know what, here's the information. Look at it, do your own research, but do it based on the facts. Stop doing it based on this constant misinformation and misrepresentation that's been circulating on the internet. I'm going to give you everything in writing and you can make your own decision.
What time did you meet him on November 6th, and what time did you arrive at your hotel during the day following?
We met in the early evening on November 6th. As far as a specific time on November 7th, I cannot provide that to you. And I know where the question's coming from, but I cannot provide that to you.
You know where it's coming from.
Thank you.
Let's take a trip down memory lane at the cemetery. Rain breaks skies, scenes at the end of every young black life is the small jam.
Where did you incur this permanent disabling nerve and spinal injury?
Sacramento, California. Injuries from October of 2000 through August of 2001 while employed with B&G Delivery Systems on Harris Avenue in Sacramento, California.
And what is your source of income now? Is that
My source of income is disability, Social Security disability.
That's your sole source of income?
That is.
We all recall the claims and counterclaims and what happened with the cooking allegations is the article. Can you offer any physical evidence, any identifying physical features and so on with claims?
I have already announced that I would identify certain physical features, but I will not do it at this time. It will be posted later at the advice of my attorney after we discuss the specifics.
Mr. Rivers, how are you? you made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I am so excited.
Okay.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we
president?
already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay. It does
Distinguished guests, and men and women of the finest military in the world. Most of all, Admiral Mullen, Deborah. Michael and I also want to acknowledge your son Jack, who's deployed today. All of you have performed extraordinary service to our country. Michael and I also want to acknowledge your son Jack, who's deployed today.
This is an ABC News special report.
Good afternoon to all of you. I'm Diane Sawyer here at ABC News World Headquarters in New York with George Stephanopoulos because there is big breaking news from the White House. This is an historic political and cultural moment in this country, and the issue, gay marriage.
That's right. The White House facing a lot of questions this week in the wake of Vice President Biden saying he's comfortable with gay marriage. On Sunday, North Carolina becoming the 30th state yesterday to ban gay marriage. The president made the news in an interview with our friend and my GMA co-anchor, Robin Roberts, down at the White House. So let's go right there, Robin.
George and Diane, based upon what you just said, yes, the vote last night in North Carolina, what Vice President Biden said earlier in the week, and what his press secretary, Jay Carney, said yesterday, and that the president would speak for himself on his position. So I asked the president, does he still oppose same-sex marriage?
I have to tell you, as I said, I've been going through an evolution on this issue. I've always been adamant that gay and lesbian Americans should be treated fairly and equally. And that's why, in addition to everything we've done in this administration, rolling back Don't Ask, Don't Tell, so that outstanding Americans can serve our country, whether it's no longer defending the Defense Against Marriage Act, which tried to federalize what has historically been state law. I've stood on the side of broader equality for the LGBT community. And I had hesitated on gay marriage, in part because I thought civil unions would be sufficient, that was something that would give people hospital visitation rights and other elements that we take for granted. I was sensitive to the fact that for a lot of people, the word marriage was something that evokes very powerful traditions, religious beliefs, and so forth. But I have to tell you that over the course of several years, as I talk to friends and family and neighbors, when I think about members of my own staff who are in incredibly committed monogamous relationships, same-sex relationships, who are raising kids together, when I think about those soldiers or airmen or Marines or sailors who are out there fighting on my behalf and yet feel constrained, even now that Don't Ask, Don't Tell is gone, because they're not able to commit themselves in a marriage. At a certain point, I've just concluded that for me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
We've been looking at new models of getting farmers markets to, create buses and drive into communities that are underserved. So we have to deal with the question of access. And believe me, as a busy single mother, or I shouldn't say single, as a busy mother, sometimes when you got the husband who's president, it can feel a little single, but he's there. But as a busy working mom, and before coming to the White House, I was in that position, as well, working, driving kids to practice, not having enough time to shop or cook, not having the energy. The resources weren't the issue, but time and energy is key. As a busy single mother, or I shouldn't say single, as a busy mother, sometimes when you got the husband who's president, it can feel a little single, but he's there.
I love this country, and I cannot stay silent regarding Barack Obama, knowing what I know. Today I will discharge my obligation as a citizen to witness this knowledge to you and raise questions for others to investigate and consider. I'm going to briefly describe my background and experiences with Senator Obama. In 1999, what appears to me to be a coordinated effort to discredit me, and finally a list of questions. After this brief statement, I will take and try to answer any reasonable questions. On November 5th, 1999, I hired the services of 5-Star Limousine. I had hired them both for November 5th and November 6th of 1999. On November 6, 1999, I asked the limo driver, whose name I now reveal for the first time, Jagir Paramit Mutani, if he knew anyone who would like to socialize and show me Chicago. Mr. Mutani understood that I was looking for someone who knew Chicago and would enjoy socializing. Mr. Mutani said he knew someone who was a friend of his. On November 6, 1999, after picking me up at the hotel in Gurnee, and this is significant, Mr. Mutani used his cell phone to make a call. That call was made to then Illinois State Senator Barack Obama to set up an introduction between myself and Senator Obama. Upon arriving at the bar and exiting the limo, Senator Obama was standing next to Mr. Mutani, and I was introduced to Senator Obama by name. Later that evening in a bar which I believe was called Alibis, and I state believe because I have failed so far to get Citigroup to provide the credit card receipts that has the actual name. I mentioned I could use a line or two to wake up. Senator Obama asked me if I was referring to Coke, and I stated I was. After stating I was, Obama stated he could purchase cocaine for me and then made a telephone call. This too is significant, from a cell phone to a presently unknown individual, during which Senator Obama arranged the cocaine purchase. Senator Obama and I then departed the bar in my limousine and proceeded to an unknown location where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois. The following day, November 7th, 1999, Senator Obama appeared at my hotel room, unannounced, uninvited, where we again ingested cocaine and I again performed fellatio on Senator Obama. Significantly, both the driver's telephone call to Senator Obama and his call to the drug dealer should appear on the driver's and Senator Obama's cell phone billing statements. In the fall of 2007, September 2007, I contacted the presidential campaign of Barack Obama to request solely that Senator Obama publicly correct his stated drug use record to reflect his use of crack cocaine with me in November of 1999. When I made the first contact, I left with the presidential campaign of Senator Obama a telephone number for the campaign to return my call. The first number I provided was a Texas cell phone number. From the period of Labor Day weekend 2007 through November 18th of 2007, I did provide a total of 4 different callback numbers to the Obama campaign. As I had moved and I had changed the numbers to reflect locally my place of residence at the time. In late September to early October 2007, I received a call from a male who identified himself as a Mr. Young, stating he was calling in regards to calls I had made to the Obama campaign. The first call was in fact an attempt by Mr. Young to obtain from me the identities of anyone I had contacted concerning my 1999 allegations against Senator Obama. The first call shocked me in that this Mr. Young asked me why I had not asked Senator Obama to disclose the sexual encounters I had with Mr. Obama in 1999. I was shocked as I had never mentioned to the campaign or anyone working for the campaign any sexual encounters, as my call was prompted by drug allegations only. The call ended with Mr. Young stating I would hear from someone in a few days. In mid to late October 2007, I received a second call from this Mr. Young, at which time I clearly became aware that this individual was personally involved with Senator Obama rather than just an employee of his campaign. The tone of the conversation had a sexual nature. Mr. Young did not once advise me how he obtained my phone number, which by this time had now changed to a Delaware number. In late October 2007, I received a text message from the gentleman identified as Mr. Young, in which he stated he was intimately involved with Senator Obama and that Obama was discussing with him and his pastor how to publicly acknowledge Senator Obama's drug use in 1999. And that Obama wanted to be sure I had not discussed the sexual encounters or drug incidents with any media at that time. In mid to late November 2007, in another text message from Mr. Young, he advised me that Senator Obama will publicly correct his statement as to the last time he used drugs, and I did not need to concern myself with publicly disclosing it myself. The last contact I had with Mr. Young was in early December 2007, when he made it clear to me that Senator Obama had no intentions of publicly acknowledging his 1999 use of crack cocaine, and that Mr. Young was in fact doing nothing more than milking information from me for Senator Obama's use. I later learned that A. Donald Young, the choir director of Reverend Wright's Trinity United Church of Christ, Obama's now former church, and who was openly homosexual, learned that he was murdered on December 23rd of 2007.
Larry, let me ask you this. A lot of people wonder why. I mean, are you doing this now? You're coming forward now with this when the man is shy of few delegates, a few votes to become the Democrat candidate for the presidential running for the United States of America. I mean, we are talking about a fellow that can be or can become president of the United States. Don't you think that you should have done this before? Why are you doing this now? I mean, le estoy preguntando a él que por qué él está haciendo esto ahora y no lo hizo antes. Why are you doing this now, Larry? You should have done this long ago because the man is almost there. I mean, it's about to become the official candidate.
Hector, I have been trying to get this man to become honest about his drug use since last fall. Okay, I can't force him to stand up in front of the American people and say, hey, I'm a liar and I'm a drug user. Even more so, I can't force him to stand up today and tell people that he had another gay lover in Chicago that was murdered on
in December.
Excuse me, Larry, are you saying...
¿Qué dijo? Espérate.
Él está diciendo que él no puede estar ocultando una serie de cosas que el público debe saber, ya que él va a ser candidato. Ahora me está hablando de que él tuvo un amante, un gay amante, que fue asesinado en Chicago. Déjeme preguntarle, Larry, are you talking about Senator Obama, that he had a homosexual relationship with somebody that was murdered in Chicago?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Wow. When did it happen?
Donald Young was murdered in December of 2007. And my attempts to contact the Chicago Police Department on information that links Senator Obama to this gentleman and his death have been ignored.
One News. A man who worked as a choir conductor and school teacher is found shot to death. The victim, 47-year-old Donald Young. Good evening, everyone. Young's death has been ruled a homicide. His body was discovered yesterday morning inside his South Side home at 2320 East 69th Street. ABC 7's Michelle Gallardo is here now with more on the case and how Young is being remembered tonight. Michelle?
Ravi, Donald Young was the fourth of 8 siblings. He was, according to those who loved him, the type of person who didn't take life for granted. He lived every day to the fullest. So whether it was in the South Side classroom where he taught or at church conducting the choir every Sunday, Young made an impression on those who met him.
He was one of those success stories in terms of a kid whom the average person would look at and say he doesn't have a chance.
And yet, before his death, Donald Young succeeded mightily. Among other things, he was a choir conductor at Trinity United Church of Christ for many years. This amateur video, shot just last week, shows him doing what for him wasn't a profession, but a calling.
He came to our church as a 12-year-old. He was not brought by mother and father. He just came because of the other kids and became active in the church.
The church became Young's extended family. When news of his killing came during Sunday morning services, Reverend Wright tells us many parishioners got up and went straight to Young's home. This third-floor apartment on the 2300 block of East 69th Street is where Young was found by his roommate, shot to death.
He was a person who believed in loving people with God love, agape love that a lot of us don't, unconditional love.
Young was also a 5th grade teacher at Guggenheim Elementary, and tonight family spokesperson Dennis Cole told us Young had just finished a double master's in early child education and math. His ambition was to become a school principal.
There's so many good times, so many photos to go through, so many tears of joy, sadness, but most of all, just the fact that we're out here to inspire each other and to encourage each other is the way we're getting through this during this time of the year.
Now, services for Donald Young are scheduled for Thursday evening. As for the investigation, police say they're still conducting interviews. Ravi, as you might expect, Young's family really wants this case solved. As I was leaving the home of one of Young's sisters tonight, one of the relatives basically took my hand and just said to me, we want answers. We want peace.
Who doesn't when something like this would happen? Michelle, thanks very much. Merry Christmas.
You too.